adding and subtracting integers. So now we're going to focus on multiplying and dividing integers and focusing on the signs, right? Because that's the part where it gets a little confusing. And so what if we had 6 times 2? Same numbers as our first example last time, right? If we had 6 times 2, oh here, I'll write it like this. 6 times 2, right? 6 times 2, you might already know, that's equal to 12. Alright, and so what if we had, instead of 6 times 2, what if we had 6 times, negative 2? Okay, and this could also be written as 6 times negative 2, or since there's a negative, oftentimes we like to put a parentheses. So like 6 times this little dot can mean multiplication. 6 times negative 2, or if you have a parentheses and you have a number next to a parentheses, just like this, 6 parentheses negative 2, there's no plus, no minus, no dot, no nothing, you actually assume that this means 6 times negative 2. And you can also have a parenthesis on both. Parentheses 6, parentheses negative 2, this actually means 6 times negative 2. You're just assuming that there's that, here I'll draw really quick for you. You're assuming there's that little dot. So, I mean, this looks kind of ridiculous now, so I'll just go back to the basics, right? I just wanted to show you guys that. So we're going to have 6 times negative 2, and the rule is, when you're multiplying integers with different signs, if you have a positive multiplied by a negative, you do the regular multiplication, right? 6 times 2 is 12, but then you give it a negative. So it's as simple as that. If you have a positive times a negative, you just multiply the two numbers, get 12, right, in this case, and then just give it a negative sign. And so, another example of that would be if you had negative 6 times positive 2. So here, still 6 and 2, so we're still going to have a 12 after we multiply them. And notice how we have a positive here and a negative here. So whenever you have a positive and a negative multiplied by each other, your sign is going to be negative. And one way to understand this more conceptually is if you had negative 6 of something, right? And you multiplied that by 2. Remember, multiplying by 2 is sort of like doubling something. So if you doubled this negative 6, like if you had, maybe if you think about it on a number line, you're at 0, you go all the way to negative 6. If you're going to double this, you're going to go twice as far, all the way to negative 12 on a number line. So that's another way you can think about it, about why when you're doing a positive times a negative, you get a negative number still. Okay, and so now, what if you had, let's go ahead and erase all of this actually. What if you had negative 6 times negative 2? Both of them negative. Well, the rule here is, as long as the signs are the same, so in this case, if you have 2 negatives multiplied by each other, the answer is actually just going to be positive. So you still multiply out your two numbers normally, 6 times 2 is 12. But then, since there's a double negative, sort of, we get a positive 12. And, so the rule really is, if you have the same sign being multiplied by each other, your answer is always positive. Because that's the same thing, if you had like 3 times 5. These are two positive numbers, but they're also the same sign. So your answer, 15, is going to be positive. Alright, so now that we're done talking about multiplication, let's talk a little bit about division. And remember earlier we talked about how subtraction is really just addition, but adding by the opposite integer. Well, multiplication and division share something similar. They're also kind of the same thing, except division is really just multiplying by the reciprocal. And I don't know, maybe that might sound a little confusing, so I'll just show you really quick. 10 divided by 2, which would equal 5, is actually the same thing as 10 times 1 over 2. And just to show you really quick, I'll just do it right here. If you had 10 times 1 over 2, that's the same thing as 10 over 1, right? 10. You just get 10 times 1 is 10, 1 times 2 is 2, 10 over 2, and that's 5. So, just want to show you, because of the fact that division is actually just multiplying by the reciprocal, division is actually going to follow the same rules as multiplication, as far as signs and integers go. So, just like before, we said if you multiply a positive and a negative, you get a negative, right? Well, same thing goes for division. If you have 6 divided by negative 2, then sure, 6 divided by 2 is 3, right? But since it's a positive and a negative, you get a negative 3. Just like the multiplication rules. And, I could have wrote this another way, right? I could have wrote 6 divided by, like that, negative 2. Same thing, right? And just like the previous example, if I switch which one's negative, I still get the same answer. If I do negative 6 divided by 2, I still get a negative 3 because only one of them is positive and one of them is negative. So as long as it's one of each, your answer is always going to be negative. And really quick, just like multiplication last time, if I have a negative number, we'll say negative 8, divided by another negative number, negative 4, what you do is you just do 8 divided by 4 first. So really quick, I'll do it right here. 8 divided by 4, that's 2, right? So you do that over here, except you keep the sign that both of them had. If they share the same sign, if they share the same sign, then you just keep it positive. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive number. Alright, so now we know all the rules for multiplying and dividing integers with the signs. So now I want you all to try these example problems. So I'll read them out to you really quick, and then you can try them on your own. Pause the video, right? And then afterwards you can resume the video, and I'll help you solve them all. So over here, this one says negative 9 divided by 3. So definitely give that one a try. This one says 2 times negative 8. This one says negative 12 divided by negative 4. And this one says negative 7 times negative 5. So pause the video, give all of those a try, and then resume the video when you're ready. Alright, assuming you gave all those a try. So negative 9 divided by 3, remember, we just do the division, right? Just do 9 divided by 3, that's going to give us 3. And then, since I have one positive and one negative, right, different signs, our answer is going to be negative. And that's our answer to that one. Over here, we have 2 times negative 8. So remember, we just do the multiplication first. So 2 times 8 is 16. And then since we have a positive and a negative again, one of each, our answer is negative, right? Whenever you have mismatching signs, your answer is going to be negative. Okay, over here, let's box that one. Okay, so over here we have negative 12 divided by negative 4. So remember, just do the division first. 12 divided by 4 is 3. And since we have 2 negatives, right, sort of like a double negative, that means our answer is going to be positive, right? Because whenever you have the same sign, answer is positive when you're doing multiplication and division. Okay, over here we have negative 7 times negative 5. So again, just do the multiplication. 7 times 5 is 35. Okay, and then look at the signs, right? We've got 2 negative signs, right? Both of them same sign. Double negative, that means our answer is going to be positive. So leave it positive. Cool, perfect. Well, that sums everything up. That is that's integer operations. We did all the addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and we focus on the signs of the numbers, right? Because that could be the most confusing part. So thanks for watching. I hope you catch the rest of our videos, and see you next time.